Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Monday Night Huddle. I'm your host, Matt Brown, and we have a special edition of the Monday Night Huddle tonight, guys, because this is our NFL preview episode. I think it's our third, maybe, or fourth. I think it's third. It's like our third preview episode. We're going to go division by division, looking and telling you who's going to win each division. We're going to tell you who's going to win the Super Bowl. We're also going to talk a little bit about NFL MVP and Rookie of the Year for offense and defense. And we have some videos we got sent in from some of our contributors. Dave over at Zero Fox Sports Card sent us a video. We'll get his Super Bowl prediction. Keith White, Card Shark Chris couldn't make it tonight, so he sent us a video as well. And we want to hear from you guys in the comments down below. When we go through each division, I want to hear what you guys think is going to win each division as well. Also, just a little note, we are not going to have an episode next Monday because it's Labor Day, folks. And I'm going to be out celebrating with my son. We're going out to Pittsburgh, doing some amusement parks and the zoo out there. So that should be really fun. So no episode on the 4th. Well, we will be coming back September 11th with a wrestling episode. Yes, folks, a lot of wrestling news happening, some deaths, some big events happening over in London. We're going to be bringing our buddy Keith White from the Mixed Tag Podcast on that day, talking a lot about wrestling. So make sure you check that out. That'll come on the 11th. Again, no show on the 4th. And 25 Perez, yes, R.I.P. Bray Wyatt and Terry Funk. Don't forget about Terry Funk. 25 Perez, make sure you check us out on the 11th when we talk all about that. All right, so I couldn't get Card Shark Chris on. Rob the Shark's still not feeling well, so I had to bring somebody on to talk the NFL, and the only guy I could think of is this guy right here, Chris Ellis, the card guy. He is here. Chris Ellis, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. How you doing, Matt?
I'm doing good. Usually you're in the comments, but now I bring you on. You did such a great job on our NFL draft show that I wanted to bring you on, and actually, you didn't do the preview show last year for the NFL, I believe. You've only done the baseball.
Right. That's all.
Yeah. So you're a newbie, so It's just you and me. So we're going to go, again, division by division, talking about the major stories in each division, giving us our predictions as well. And you might as well put the money on our picks because we're always 100% correct. I didn't even look to see who I picked last year, but I knew I was wrong. So, but that's what happens. All right, Chris, we're going to start off in the AFC. Let's talk about the AFC East. Of course, the big news is the Jets revamped their team. Aaron Rodgers going in there. Dalvin Cook. Besides the Aaron Rodgers thing, I don't see many other changes in the AFC at all. What do you think the impact's going to be with Aaron Rodgers going into New York?
Well, it'll be better quarterback play, that's for sure. I think Garrett Wilson will have another 1,000-yard season. I just hope the trust factor. You know how Brett would not trust his his wide receivers a lot. So hopefully he's been in there. I mean, from what people have said about Hard Knocks and everything, he's been doing well with the young core and everything. Plus, he's got some receivers that he's had in past years. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I mean, I think everything – I just don't know how they jump two teams in that division right now. But, I mean, they could possibly jump if Tua doesn't stay healthy, if he gets concussions. I think the Dolphins' offense is better than the Jets' offense, per se. The Bills are still the team to beat in the East. I think the Patriots are still the fourth best team out there. So, I mean, I would probably say that the Bills are definitely the number one team.
Oh yeah, you got props. I didn't know we had props. So and that's the old school Bills helmet there too, isn't it?
Yes, it is. So the Bills I got as they are the first place team, but they are going to be the fourth seed in the playoffs.
Gotcha. And 25 Perez just reminded me my pick was the Bills last year. So thanks, 25 Perez. I appreciate that.
Might have been mine too.
I think, and the other thing I want to talk about the AFC East a little bit is, what do you think about Tua? Do you think he's ever going to put together a season where he's not injured, or last year was just it was scary. Like some of the injuries he had from his concussions.
I blame the first concussion. They should have kept him out,
Mm,
and they hurried him back. Now I don't know if that was because, I mean, the NFL looked at it. Doctors, I mean, I think a couple of doctors and training staff got fired after the second time. Um, if they could learn to keep him healthy and everything, I mean, I already know that people are talking about him in the gym and telling Ryan Clark to keep his name out of his mouth.
mhm.
Um, I think, I mean, to me, you don't have to block long for Tua because Tyreek Hill and he's got the two quickest receivers in football.
Yeah,
I
Waddle.
don't, yeah, I don't think you have to keep the passing game. I mean, the only thing I think that could hurt the Dolphins the most is Tua's on the sideline, but I don't think they got much.
Right. I think the Dolphins did bring in a backup quarterback this year. Mike, I think they bring in Mike White, I think. Yeah, I think they did
Yeah.
bring in Mike White.
Oh,
He was quarterback for the Jets last year, I believe. He had some good moments, so it's good they brought in a good backup. But yeah, without Tua's that main guy on that team. You need him on that team.
yeah. I mean, people said he couldn't be accurate, and look at what he did last year. I
Yeah,
mean, he was throwing bombs 60, 80 yards. Even though he had quick receivers, you still have to be. You can't just
right.
throw the ball in the air and be Dan Fouts and go Air Cornell on everybody. You know.
Yeah, definitely. My pick is also going to be the Buffalo Bills. I think the Buffalo Bills are still the team to beat in that division. You know, if Tua didn't have the history of concussions, I think it'd be a lot closer.
Oh
But
yeah.
I think the Bills and the thing with the Jets, though, the Jets are like a very sexy pick and a very sexy looking team with Aaron Rodgers and everybody. But you see this often in the NFL where teams will go out, spend a lot of money, and try to win themselves a championship. And you might be able to do that in baseball, but you can't do that in football. Like it's never worked in football. So I mean, you remember when Washington was spending like a ton of money back when they brought in Albert Hainsworth and all those guys, never could bring the championship. The only time it kind of worked is when you have a core group of players. Like the 49ers used to bring in guys, but they had Montana, Rice, and Young and Roger Craig. Yeah. But then they would bring in Dion and they bring in
they brought in Kid Norton from Dallas,
Charles Haley and stuff. You know, that would work, but the Jets don't have that core team with them, and I think that's why they're going to be.
They probably had the best 2 years of drafting together out of both. I mean, just look at it. Either way, they had the offensive rookie of the year last year. If Hall would have stayed healthy, he would have been the offensive rookie over Garrett Wilson, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But
and the defensive rookie of the year also.
Yeah. So they had in
Sauce Gardner.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So you think about it. I mean, do I think they'll be better than last year? I mean, the last time the Jets had a Pro Bowl quarterback was Brett Favre. So, I mean,
that was a while ago. So
I mean, the only team with a longer drought than that is the Dolphins.
True. There you go. All right, let's switch over to the AFC North. I think the AFC North is going to be a very tough division. You got the Steelers. Steelers are always tough, no matter who's playing for them. Big question mark on them is, of course, Kenny Pickett. You got the Bengals, who are in the AFC championship game. You got the Ravens, who have gone all in with, they brought in Odell Beckham, Jason Pierre-Paul, and then you finally have the Browns, too, which the Browns are, I mean, I would think the Browns and Steelers probably battle for that last spot. Well, what are you thinking right now about the AFC North with probably the Ravens and the Bengals probably battling that out?
I definitely got the Bengals 1 and the Ravens 2. I think as long as Joe Burrow can stay healthy and with that wide receiving core, I think, they got that. They're scary too. I mean, they got good defense. They always turn it around like mid-season, though. Mm-hmm. They kind of start out really slow, which is kind of scary because with the rejuvenated Lamar Jackson with that contract now, and now he's got Odell, who they've been, of all accounts, that Odell and him have been working really well together. Mm-hmm. So, and plus they got Max Williams at tight end, who's been one of the top tight ends.
Mark Andrews.
Yeah, Andrews.
They used to have Max Williams.
You're right. It did. But Andrews is It's probably
Yeah.
But you got Andrews. You always have a tough defense, no matter what. I mean, they'll play hard for you.
First round pick Zay Flowers too, another wide receiver they brought in too.
From
Might look
Florida
pretty
State.
good.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, the Steelers for me would be like maybe could do some things if you just can't. A Mike Tomlin team, he's never had a losing record, which is unbelievable. Even with the team he had last year, which should have had a losing record. That guy's just. I mean, as a head coach, I don't know who wouldn't want him coaching my team. I don't know.
Right.
He gets, I mean, he always makes a quarterback, I think, better than what they are. I love Ben Roethlisberger. Don't get me wrong, but would he have started on many teams the way he played overall? Would he been the number one quarterback for other teams other than where he played?
Especially his first couple of years, he was not.
Yeah, I mean, he was not nowhere. I mean, he was a big quarterback, hard to bring down. I mean, he became a better Dante Culpepper later on than what Dante Culpepper was. I mean, a big guy to tackle, But, I mean, I'm not going to give up on Kenny Pickett because I think he is smart enough quarterback IQ-wise to, they got weapons around him. So let's see. But the thing that's going to hurt him is can they get the running game going? Because that's just – and then Cleveland – they put way too much on the Deshaun Watson. Is he going to be worth all that money?
Right.
I would love to see the Browns. I mean, it's good for football to see the Browns do well, I think. But you're playing in a division that you're going to have to jump Pittsburgh and Baltimore. I don't know. I mean, the first game is against the Bengals to open the season, which they could possibly win that game. Because they always
play them tough.
Yeah, they always play Cincinnati well and always play them close. So, and if Cincinnati does its usual thing, Cleveland could win that first game easily, I think. But I just think the Bengals are easily, them two, the Bengals and the Ravens will make the playoffs easily. Yeah, I think.
So long as Lamar stays healthy. That's the big thing with that.
Yeah,
I'm just surprised after all the controversy they had with Lamar Jackson that the Ravens decided to go all in with him. Like they brought in Odell, they brought in, their first round pick, Zay Flowers, and here was a quarterback that they were shopping. They were trying to get rid of. Yeah. And now they decided to go all in on Lamar Jackson. So hopefully it does well. I think they'll have a good chance though.
I don't see how the other two teams below them, other than Lamar getting hurt, I still think Baltimore's better than Cleveland.
Yeah.
In that scenario, and then Pittsburgh would jump, of course, Baltimore, but the Bengals to me are probably the team there to beat in that.
Yeah, definitely. The Bengals are also my pick for the AFC North as well. All right, let's take a quick little break because I want to bring on or show one of our video or Super Bowl predictions. Our buddy Dave over at Zero Fox Sports Cards sent us a video for his Super Bowl prediction. Now, the audio in the beginning was a little rough, but then it picks up. So let's check out who Dave over at Zero Fox Sports Cards thinks is going to win the Super Bowl this year.
It is time to make our yearly predictions. Florida, this is Dave. Detroit, back again. Super Bowl predictions for this year. We were so close last year. We even predicted the injury to Trey Lance.
Congratulations.
But this time around, it's going to be the New York Jets making the Super Bowl. That's right. Rodgers leading the team. He's playing spoiler. But who are they going to face? They are going to face, drum roll, the Philadelphia Eagles. Back-to-back Super Bowl losses for the Eagles. You heard it here. Believe it or not.
All right, so there's Dave's pick. He's picking the Jets and Eagles, two Northeast teams as well. Our buddy Rob the Shark is on. Hey, Rob, how you doing? I'm from RTS Sports Cards. Check him out. I would have invited you to the NFL preview show, Rob, but I didn't know if you were up for it. So, but if you do have a prediction, though, make sure you put in the comments. We'll definitely read that as well as all. All right, let's switch over to the AFC South. Bring our buddy on, Chris Ellis, the card guy. Make sure you check out his YouTube channel, Chris Ellis Card Guy, doing some great stuff over there. So I'm going not only just cards, also comic books and convention stuff as well. So make sure you check that out. Let's switch over to the AFC South. And you know what? Looking at this division, this is the young quarterback division. Like, I'm telling you what, you got Young, or no, you don't have Young. Who do you have? You have C.J. Stroud, you have Anthony Richardson, Trevor Lawrence, and Will Levis of Tennessee. So you have such a young quarterback class in the AFC. You don't see that often where you have all these young quarterbacks in one division, but here you have in the AFC South, and it's pretty much, I mean, there really isn't. Can anybody challenge the Jaguars in this division?
No.
No.
The Jaguars are going to have I believe, will have the easiest road to the playoffs. In saying that, that's going to be not going to be great for them, because I think their defense, the only defense I think in the South that will measure up maybe to them, it might be the Texans, due to the fact that they got the 49ers defensive coordinator, who I think is going to be a good head coach.
Marco Ryans.
Yeah, DeMarco Ryans. They made some good picks. I mean, the Titans, I don't know what they're doing, because they got Levis, Willis, and got Tannehill still under contract.
Right.
They're saying they're going away from Tannehill. So, I mean,
yeah,
I don't think either.
Yeah, the Jags are pretty easy on this one. I kind of like how the Jags also picked up Calvin Ridley. I thought that was a good pickup for them.
Yeah.
Of course, Calvin Ridley was suspended all of last year for gambling on football.
He's
he's completely healthy. Yeah, so I think that'll be, because I know they did lose DJ Chark, but I think Ridley will be an upgrade for them at wide receiver.
I think Lawrence's first touchdown pass in preseason was to Ridley, if I believe I'm right. I might be wrong, but I know they connected this year already in the preseason.
And only one team out of this division is going to make the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I mean, I got the Colts at number 2, just because I think a running back's going to end up getting traded, and they'll get pieces for that. I don't know what their owner is thinking about talking bad about Jonathan Taylor, when that guy's been a beast for that team for several years. Something about Colts and running backs, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, Edgar and James. I mean,
you can go back to Eric Dickerson.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
And John Mackey,
Yeah, I mean, so I think the Texans are going to be in 3rd. I think they have the biggest way to jump next year.
Mm-hmm.
I think Richardson and Stroud will probably be neck and neck on the quarterback in that division. Just the way they're going to make mistakes. Period.
Gotcha.
None bigger than the Titans, mind you. The Titans.
Right. Somebody named Rebecca Ellis predicting the 49ers win week 5. I don't know where we get these crazy people from.
I have no idea. Hi, dear. She'll be happy about my picks later on, too.
All right. Our buddy Rob, though, wanted to give us a Super Bowl prediction. Eagles versus winner of Chiefs and Bills, the AFC Championship. Probably Chiefs. Eagles will win it this year. And Rob also wanted to say, I think sometimes we forget general managers are just normal people, and some are dumb and have no idea what they're doing, like Tennessee. There you go. That's what Rob the Shark thinks.
Well, I don't know what the owner for the Colts is thinking either, because, I mean, me and my son are already mad about Sam Ellinger not getting a chance, but, maybe it might. But, the Jaguars are the best team. That's too easy. I mean, they're the number 1 seed. They're the number 1 seed, period, in the AFC.
Number 1 in the whole AFC? I think they're going to be the number 1 seed.
They'll be the number 1 seed in the AFC.
Oh, wow. Just because their division is so weak that they're going to get so many.
They're going to walk through their division, or that part of the AFC. They only have to go 2, 4, 6. I mean, they'll easily get to 10 wins.
Yeah.
I mean, they could play bad against the other divisions and still be the number 1 seed. Because if you look at if you look at the Bills and the Dolphins and the Jets and the Patriots, they're all going to try to beat each other.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the Bengals and the Ravens are going to try to beat each other. I mean, well, look, the Steelers, that whole division wants to beat each other up. I mean,
Yeah.
I just, I just don't see that. Because I see them as the number one seed, I don't see that they're going to be proven
Right.
in the playoffs. I don't think they're going to be,
Definitely.
yeah.
All right, let's switch over. Of course, my pick is also the Jags as well. Let's switch over to the AFC West. Sean Payton comes in. We were talking earlier. Chris Ellis is not a Sean Payton fan at all. I can tell. I think Sean Payton is going to do pretty well there in Denver. I think Denver is going to be a wild card team, actually. But I think the Chiefs are probably going to win that AFC West. Until somebody beats them, I think you got to go with the Chiefs. Of course, last year's Super Bowl winner. What do you think about the Chiefs and their chances in the AFC West, Chris?
Oh, Chiefs are going to win the division. They still, until you in order to be the man, you got to beat the men. And the AFC right now, they're the man. I have them as the second seed in the overall playoff scheme. I don't see anybody in that division challenging them. Period. I do. I mean, I'm probably people are going to be shocked who I think are going to be in second. It's Aver has to do something. If Herbert doesn't do this is breaker make here as a quarterback. Mm-hmm. If the Chargers don't make the playoffs as a wild card team, he's gone.
Well, and you're talking about Justin Herbert. They did bring in the Cowboys offense coordinator, Kellen Moore, to help out. You're a big Cowboys fan. What do you think Kellen Moore is going to do with Herbert?
If they let him do I know him and Dak didn't have the same ideology quarter thing because Kellen Winslow was more of a pocket passer and when he played, and so is Justin. To me, I think Justin's. To me, you could put Justin on any team, and I think he'd make it better. It's just the San Diego or not Los Angeles.
Yeah, Los Angeles. I call him San Diego too.
Yeah, Los Angeles Chargers, who share the same arena with the Los Angeles Rams.
Right.
Who would see the Rams stuff all over the place. Well, what do they have? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
They got a Super Bowl ring.
Yeah.
That's what they got.
Yeah. Yeah. So. And the Chargers, are like Philip, it's almost like you got these bunch of trash talkers that can play a good game, but once they get to the playoffs, they wilt. Or they do something stupid. Or, it's I just don't see the Raiders or the Broncos better than the Chiefs. I don't see anybody in there better than Chiefs, but I put Chargers in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So
I think at least one wild card, maybe even two wild cards possibly come in for there. But definitely the Chiefs are probably the team to beat there in the AFC West.
The Broncos, to me, I would love to see Russell Wilson have a better year than he had last year. I think he's a better quarterback than what he was last year. He doesn't need to say let's ride anymore, because every time he says let's ride, it's let's hide. Yep. That's all he did was hide. So I just don't like their head coach's defense philosophy or football philosophy. He tries to outscore everybody, but doesn't try to run the ball or do anything other.
Yeah. RTS says best bet this year, bet $290 to win $100. Chiefs win 10 games this year. Not great odds, but I think it's a given. Probably.
Well. Oh, yeah. 10 wins?
Yeah, 10 wins. So
or more.
Yeah.
I think the Raiders is 2 wins right there. So that's another 8.
Yeah. Yep, definitely. All right, let's get another one of our videos here for one of our predictions from one of our regulars. Let us bring on Keith White here, our buddy Keith White over the Mixed Tag Podcast. He's going to join us September 11th when we talk a lot of wrestling stuff. He's going to join us, but he has his NFL prediction. Let's see who our buddy Keith White's going to pick.
Monday Night Huddle fans, this is the former co-host of Mixed Tag, a pro wrestling podcast, and current fantasy football champion, Keith White. Good to see everybody. I want to go over my predictions this year for the NFL season and who's going to win the Super Bowl. I think it's going to be an amazing year with some really good football action, a lot more offense because that's the way the league is heading towards. And I think we're going to see some records being broken. It's going to be a great season in general for the game of football. But I believe on the NFC side, we are going to see the Philadelphia Eagles go back to Super Bowl. I think that they only got richer in the draft. I don't think they lost too many key pieces. I think that running backs wise, they kind of showed they could do anything with a committee. And they might get Jonathan Taylor. Who knows? But I think the Eagles are going to go to the Super Bowl. I think they're going to fend off a very hungry, tough Detroit Lions in the NFC Championship. And on the AFC side, I believe that we are going to see a team beat the Kansas City Chiefs to go to the Super Bowl, and that would be my Baltimore Ravens. I believe this year the mix of wide receivers and the running game combined with the dangerous side of Lamar Jackson plus a strong defense, and they just got Jadeveon Clowney. I just feel like it's going to be a very, very good year for the Baltimore Ravens. And I believe I'm going to go ahead and say this. I'm going to take my Baltimore Ravens to win the Super Bowl. Homer pick. Hate me if you want. Last year I got half the Super Bowl right and half the Super Bowl horribly wrong. So we'll see what happens this year. But I just appreciate you, Matt, and I appreciate all the viewers out there. But that is my Super Bowl prediction for this year.
All right, that was our buddy Keith White. I don't know what fantasy championship he won, but maybe he was playing against 10-year-olds. I don't know, but that's our buddy Keith White. We appreciate you giving your 2 cents. Last year, he picked the Colts and Eagles, so he was way off on one of his picks, but one pretty good on one. So probably the Eagles are probably the best pick that he made out of those. All right, we're going to switch over to the NFC. That is my team. Now, we're going to first talk about the NFC East. Now, I know I'm wearing my Giants hat here, and I know Chris Ellis is a big Cowboys fan.
Mm-hmm.
But first, before we talk about who's going to win, let's talk about your Cowboys. Yeah. I think this is the end of an era. This is the end of the Dak Prescott era. I think Prescott's gone after this year. I don't think it's going to be a good year for the Cowboys. Zeke's gone, of course. I feel like this is like the end of Prescott's open for a championship, the Cowboys, and they're going to be rebuilding after this. What says the big Cowboys fan there?
Well, if this is the last year for Dak, maybe we can take Jerry Jones and our head coach out of the question too. I would love for 2 of those guys to go. I don't know. Let's put it this way. If I take Dak Prescott off the Cowboys, how many teams can Dak Prescott start for?
Probably quite a few.
Okay. So I'm taking my starting quarterback out of the picture. Who am I starting? Am I starting Cooper Rush for 16 games next year? Or am I going with Trey Lance? And I'm not going with Trey Lance.
Right.
I'd rather call Colt McCoy on the telephone and go, Colt, come play in Texas. You can back up here or start. Because I'll tell you right now, I would take Zach Wilson. I'd say Sam Darnold, who's backing up Brock Purdy in San Francisco. Yeah. Or not Sam Darnold. I would take Zach Wilson too. But there's no way if I take him off, who am I putting on?
Right. Before I answer that, though, I just want to say, Frost Boys J and C, good evening, fellows. He said, nice to have you here on the Monday Night Huddle show. You're completely right. If you had a sane team and a sane fan base, the problem is you're talking about Cowboys, and Cowboys think of one thing, and that's championships, rings.
Okay, right.
And if Dak doesn't give you a ring, they're out the door.
Okay. Name the last quarterbacks in Dallas that have given us rings.
That'd be Troy Aikman and Roger Staubach.
Okay. How many quarterbacks have we had since those two?
Quite a few.
All right. Can you name any other?
But look at Tony Romo. Tony Romo had a good career.
No.
Ready to run him.
Romo owns almost all records of the Dallas Cowboys history.
Mm.
The only thing bad about Romo, and I love Romo, I was actually mad when Dak got the start. Yep, my cow. Thank you, dear.
I had to put that up. So
No, it's an ongoing chant from the whole family to me. They're all 49er fans. It's okay. And like, who are you gonna draft? Because I mean, obviously the Arizona Cardinals are going to have the number 1 pick. So I'm already thinking they're going to draft a guy out of USC. He's going number 1.
yeah.
Automatically, he's going number 1. There's no doubt in my mind. So how I mean, that's like saying, all right, you take Kirk Cousins off the Vikings. Who are you going to put there? Because I guarantee a team would want. I guarantee he's probably the most middle of the quarterbacks you can get. But what is his record?
Yeah, I like listen, it makes logical sense
Now I know
to get rid of Prescott, but Jerry Jones doesn't make logical sense sometimes.
And I wish I could believe me. If Deadpool, Deathstroke, and some other people were alive that were real,
yeah,
I'd be doing some hiring.
Okay.
Because Jerry Jones needs to go. I'm
if
sorry.
If anything happens to Jerry Jones, Chris Ellis, this is video evidence.
You could come to my house, and then you'll be looking around and like, these are the glory days of the Dallas Cowboys. The guy by the name. Okay, and I named 20 other quarterbacks that were complete chokers in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's true. I just had to put that up there. Our buddy Rob wanted to say that.
I could put. Let's put it this way: Bernie Kosar. You know who he has his Super Bowl ring from?
Did he get one? He got one at Dallas, didn't he? As a backup.
He did. Backup for. Okay, let's look at other guys. Let's look at a guy by the name of Steve Berline, who quarterbacked 3 playoff wins and didn't quarterback the Super Bowl.
Yep.
And Troy did. So, out of everybody, let's look at this. Who has one of the highest winning percentages of quarterbacks of all time? Jim McMahon.
Okay.
That's one Super Bowl. Joe Montana was lucky enough to play on one of the greatest teams of all time in the 80s.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, so if we want to talk about clunkers, look, Trent Dilfer won a Super Bowl. Not passing for a touchdown.
Wait, I don't want to talk. No, that Super Bowl did not happen, Chris.
I know.
Super Bowl did not happen.
Hey, I'll just tell you this right now. I am a big Collins fan.
Yeah.
I watched him get drafted in Carolina, in Charlotte. I've always loved Kerry. That Super Bowl should have never happened.
Right. I agree.
I agree. You know.
I had to put your wife told us we got to stop talking about the Cowboys. So I'm going to go with your wife. All right. Who do you have for the NFC East? Who do you think's going to win the NFC East? It's always a tough division, even though we're not always the best teams. But who do you think's coming out?
Eagles.
Yeah.
I mean, the Eagles are the best team in the NFC East. They got better on offense, got better on defense in the draft, other than their corners. I mean, I think their corners position is kind of shaky. But they put parts and put people in parts and they let go. I think the second and third team could switch. I mean, there's 2 teams coming out of the East. I got the Cowboys over the Giants.
Oh.
Due to the fact, now those could switch easily. That division and the East with the Bills Dolphins, I thought could both switch in the 1-2 seed easily. I think it's possible. I don't think there's going to be 3 teams in the NFC East again. And we almost had 4 last year.
Yeah.
We came close.
You don't talk about Washington, but Washington will play tough. I mean, they have a new coach, Eric Bieniemy, coming over from Kansas City. They always play everybody tough. And they will. They'll upset one. They'll upset a couple teams.
Oh yeah, I mean they always play Dallas tough.
Mm-hmm.
The Giants Redskin rivalry. I mean all those all these 4 teams have a rivalry against everybody. So in their division, there's not like one guy going, we don't like them. No, we don't like you. Period. We're gonna beat you up. So I could easily see the Giants over it's just a Daniel Jones thing. Do I think he's worth that much money? You know, I'm kind of surprised you guys signed him for that amount. Yeah, the Redskins I think are a work in progress. There's even talk about their name coming back. I
Yep.
mean, the Commanders. I'm sorry, the
It happens
Commanders
all the time.
or whatever team they want to be called. They could
Yes.
be called the Senators or I forget my name, presidents, or I don't know what bill I'm signing. You know, they could change whatever name they wanted to. They do got Sam Howell, who's in his second year, who was a good quarterback in North Carolina, broke a lot of records there. I mean, they got Scary Terry, I think, still there.
Did he get hurt in the preseason?
I think he might have, but I'm not
Okay.
for sure. They got Chase Young coming back, I believe. So
It should be, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Chase Young should be healthy and ready to go.
Right.
They're not. The Redskins are not going to be the worst team. Period. They'll probably. I think they're. It's possible that they all come close to winning records,
Yep.
But I just don't.
Yeah, and they surprised. I think that division surprised a lot of people last year. With I think did everyone have a winning record last year?
I think except for the Red. I think if the Redskins would have won.
They were close.
Two. Yeah, they were close. I mean, I know.
Right.
I know we sent 3 teams and came close to sitting a 4th.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So I think the Eagles are definitely a team. I think my Giants are still going to be pretty good. I think Daniel Jones is not a top tier quarterback, but I think he's a pretty solid quarterback. And if he can stay healthy and Saquon can stay healthy, they bring in Darren Waller, a good tight end who's going to really help Daniel Jones a lot. They have a kid they drafted out of Tennessee. Is it Hurt? I think.
Yeah.
He's going to be. I think he's going to light up some people this year as well. But I think the Eagles are definitely going to take this division. Just play my Giants and get a wild card. That's what I'm hoping.
I mean the fanatic Dallas Cowboy fan, and at times I can be a fanatical Cowboys fan, but I'm more of a realist on this team now. If they're losing, if they have a losing record going to any week, it's possible that Dak might get benched.
Yeah.
Is Dak a bad quarterback? I mean, he's better than Quincy Carter. I don't think he was better than Drew Bledsoe. But I mean, let's just think about the Cowboys, the quarterback. I mean, we almost drafted Texas A&M flunker. The good thing Jerry did not get to pick that because that's who he wanted.
That's what he wanted, Johnny Manziel.
Yeah.
All right, let's switch over from the NFC East. Let's go up to the North. We've been having a lot of talk here in the NFC North here on our chat. A lot of people are talking the Bears with Justin Fields. The NFC North should be pretty interesting. Aaron Rodgers has been there for a long time. He's gone. The Jordan Love era is beginning. You got a young, really good, exciting team to watch in Detroit finally. I can't believe I've ever said that. Minnesota, won the division last year, but they Adam Thielen's gone, Dalvin Cook's gone. They're trying to get a little bit younger. And, of course, you got the Bears. I really like what the Bears did this year in the offseason. I think they're going to take a big step up. But what are you looking at in the NFC North, Chris?
Lions are number 1. Yeah,
Short and to the point.
Lions will be the number 3 seed, but I think they're going to be the best team in that division. I just think their head coach has got them on a different playing field. I think they did good ideas in their draft pick in the first round for the running back was a kind of a shock, but then getting rid of Swift was even more of a shock. So I think the Lions got a lot of proof, and the NFL is really big on them this year. I mean, just by seeing the schedule and everything, the NFL is like almost all in on Detroit.
And did you ever think we'd see a day like this? Like, we remember the days where Detroit would not, went winless, and now Detroit is looking at possibly could be taking the NFC North. Let's switch over to the Packers, though. What do you think Jordan Love's going to do in Green Bay, taking over? Again, that team is still very, very young.
This is where I think in a couple of years things are going to be changing. I think the Packers I got finishing last, and the only reason why I got them finishing last is they got to make up their mind on the run game, and they got to make up their mind on how the offense is going to play. Are they going to be a play action type passing team, or is Jordan Love going to be able to air it out, or is he going to be able to play hard? It's going to be one of those things that I think that the Packer fans are going to have to let this year go. Let's see what this team has. And with Jordan Love being behind Aaron
Rodgers,
for a couple of years, I think that helps him out more than what Bryce Young have, Richardson has, any of the young rookie quarterbacks have this year.
Right.
I would love to see them get a quality backup behind him. Quote, come to Green Bay. I just think the Packers will, and then in the next couple of years, you're going to see the Vikings will tail off, and then it's going to be like a 3-horse race between Detroit, the Bears, and the Packers going that way. I think we're going to see like old NFC North, because the Detroit fans need a team, a good team, whatever it's in. Yep. So the fan base there is hurting, and they're ready for. And I think I got the Vikings finishing second, just because they've been pretty much darlings for the last couple seasons in that division. They still got Jefferson. They let Cook go, but was that really is that really a big deal with the running back situation?
Right. Yeah, we'll have to see about that. I think the Lions also take the NFC North as well. I think that, again, that's going to be a tough division, but I think the Lions are going to be the team. And we're going to hear from our buddy Card Shark Chris here a little bit. He's going to tell us what he thinks about the Lions as well. Before we move over to the NFC South, I want to make sure you guys hit the like button and subscribe on our YouTube channel and Facebook page. Of course, we're here every Monday night, 9 p.m. Eastern. Next Monday, though, is Labor Day. We will not be here, but we'll be back on September 11th with our wrestling show. So make sure you check that out. Our buddy Keith White will be on there as well. All right, let's go to the NFC South. And looking at this division, I don't think any of these teams want to win this division. I think every team wants to get a high draft pick because they are doing their best to look bad. You got Bryce Young in Carolina, and I actually like what Carolina did. They brought in Miles Sanders, Adam Thielen from Minnesota, DJ Chark. They brought in tight end Hayden Hurst. I really like what the Panthers did, but the rest of their team's pretty garbage. The Falcons are going with everything with Ritter, and they're going dual running backs. They're just running the ball. That's what they're doing. Derek Carr, of course, going to the Saints, but who knows what will happen down there. And then Tampa brings in Baker Mayfield. This is his third team he's starting opening day with 3 different teams 3 years in a row for Baker Mayfield. What are you looking at out of the NFC South, Chris?
Well, I'm not going to blame Baker for the 3 different teams because Cleveland did not do him justice for 2 of those seasons. The man played hurt with a bad collarbone and still was on the field, even when he shouldn't have been on the field. Mm-hmm. So I can't blame Baker for. When was the last time Cleveland won a playoff game? Baker Mayfield was quarterback.
Oh, I was going to say Kelly Holcomb.
Baker Mayfield beat the Pittsburgh Steelers, if any Pittsburgh Steelers fans out there. Yeah. So I'm not going to blame. Baker's done some stuff too. I'm not saying that he hasn't fueled the fire in some things, but I don't know. He's one of those guys too. If I plugged him out, who am I putting in there? He played for the Rams a week after getting dealt and won a game. And the Rams couldn't win nothing last year. So, right. But in saying that, I do have Baker Mayfield's team being the only team to come out of the South.
Out of the South? Okay. Well, you got okay. You didn't have one of those for every team. I just saw.
No, I do. But they don't all come out greatly with darkness. So
gotcha. But I'm actually going with a surprise. I'm going the Atlanta Falcons. I think the Atlanta Falcons are going to run this ball like crazy. They're not going to ask Ritter to do too much. Just make a couple plays a game. I think their defense is decent. I think the rest of the division is horrible. I mean, Tampa Bay couldn't win last year with Brady barely. They barely squeaked in to a playoff spot. Brady's gone. Fournette's gone. I think the running game's going to be bad. I think the Atlanta Falcons could really – and the Falcons were tough last year. They played some teams that were very tough. I think the Atlanta Falcons are going to win this division, and I think Baker will be on another team next year.
Which is possible.
Which, you know what? Dallas Cowboys. Mark it right here. Baker Mayfield, Dallas Cowboys.
Hey, I would take it. I would be on the bandwagon for that one. I would absolutely love it for him to come home and play for a Texas team and not Oklahoma. So
there you go.
I have no problem with that.
Just came out of the top of my head. What do you think about the Falcons and they drafted Bijan Robinson with the 8th pick overall. Last year's running back, I forget his name, but he had a great year.
Cordell Patterson.
Yeah, Cordell Patterson. Now you got both of those guys. That's pretty electric backfield.
They got a 3-headed monster, and this is the thing I hope they don't do with Bijan. He is more an Eric Metcalf type running back. So he can catch out of the backfield because he was Texas's leading receiver out of the backfield. Plus, he was on a lot of wideout plays. So he just didn't play running back for even though he was the award winner for top running back last year for college. But he also did other things too, return kicks, punts, stuff like that. So Cordell Robinson started as wide receiver / returner, and then later in his career has become running back / whatever. Mm-hmm. So I think if they keep that presence, because Kyle Pitts is not a tight end, he's a over wide receiver.
Yeah.
Let's see, who else do they have at wide receiver?
I have no idea.
No idea. I'm drawing blanks right now. It's
Drake London. Whoever he is, Drake London.
The guy they had last year too, which I think Kyle Pitts might have caught one touchdown pass.
Oh yeah,
correct. So, and I think Drake might have had like a couple. But the thing with Ritter is, I wish they would have started him out at the beginning of the year, with Mariota being his backup, instead of Mariota being the starter, and then Ritter later in the season becoming the quarterback. I think he's still going to show slowness. That's why I don't have them better than the Saints, because the Saints are going to be able to score, but then they play defense.
Yeah.
So, with Derek Carr throwing the ball, Jimmy Graham back, I don't know how good Jimmy Graham's going to be back in a Saints uniform.
Right.
But, they do have wide receivers. They still have weapons at running back. But,
a lot of the running backs are hurt, though, aren't they, right now, too?
Yeah.
They'll get back. But.
So that this division's bad. This division is going to be like one of those divisions that's going to be unwatchable. Kind of.
It's kind of like the AFC South, but the AFC South has at least one good team and some really cool quarterbacks you want to see. Yeah. This is the opposite. Like, none of these quarterbacks are really, they're good, but none of them are like excite you, and none of the teams are really that great.
The best quarterback out of the 4 teams is Derek Carr, I believe, But does Derek Carr, what do you think Bryce Young's going to do that first year? Oh, I think he'll do fine. I got them finishing last, but that's not saying much because look at the Colts with Peyton Manning back. Oh yeah, Peyton Manning back in the day. Or look at the other quarterbacks that didn't start out hot. Because if Peyton Manning was playing today, could you have the first 3 seasons of Peyton Manning? And would he go to another quarterback? Right. In realistic football, are you going to let him grow? Are you going to let him make mistakes? And then I'd rather have him make mistakes early than. And plus, they got Frank Reich, who was a quarterback, who played in Carolina, who was a good backup quarterback. I kind of worry about Bryce Young getting hit though. Like that offensive line, from what I've read, is pretty bad. He's taking a beating already in the preseason. Yeah, he's going to take a lot of shotguns, and and Hubbard's not a great every down back, even though McCaffrey got hurt a lot. when McCaffrey's on the field, you're not going to say he was not.
Right. Well, they bring in Miles Sanders. Probably overpaid him quite a bit, but at least he would help out with.
I mean, Thielen's going to be his weapon. Adam Thielen is going to be the best weapon he has, because if you can get him on the slot and hit him on any slot route, he's a possession receiver. That should be his best friend.
Yeah. And you know what's a shame is that they had to trade DJ Moore, their top wide receiver, in order to get Bryce Young. So, which of course, DJ Moore's in Chicago now, which I think is going to have a really good year.
Oh, I think with Claypool, Moore, that Bears team. Don't get me wrong. Next year, the Bears I would have the Bears over the Vikings next year.
Yeah.
I think because this is the Vikings make or break. I think those other teams will.
I think last year was their make or break, and they broke. And now they're just like slowly just getting rid of the pieces.
Yeah, it's like, okay, we're going down now. We'll come back up in about when Aaron Rodgers.
They don't want to go all the way down. They just want to slowly go down.
They're waiting 2 years for Aaron Rodgers to go to Minnesota, just like
Favre. Yep.
So
that could happen.
It's the route they're taking.
That is. All right, we got one division left. We're going to go back over to the NFC West. Couple of stories here. The dismantling of the Cardinals. Holy, we were talking about this before we started. The Cardinals have dismantled their whole team. They're all gone. The Rams, I think their window is totally closed. That team is not looking great. It's pretty much coming down to 49ers and Seahawks. And who would have thought we'd be talking about Geno Smith and Brock Purdy as the two quarterbacks in this division that are probably going to be 1 and 2. Though talent-wise, they're not probably the best two quarterbacks, but for this division, it's definitely got to be San Francisco and Seattle battling it out for the NFC West. Don't you think?
Yeah, I think Seattle's improved their defense from the draft. And the 49ers they get good coaching. I think their coaching, I just like how they don't BS their players. And they tell their players, this is what the team is. This is our identity. We're going to go, and it's just, you got Deebo Samuel. If McCaffrey can stay healthy, look at the defense and Bosa. The only weakness they had last year was they beat themselves. They caused some stupid penalties in the playoffs by themselves because they got too overheated and stuff about things. They were obviously, they knew when they were the best team on the field, and it's I think, and Seattle's just, if you can get that crowd and that stadium jumping, it's hard to play there. They think it's hard to play in Kansas City. Seattle is not an easy place to play.
No, there is not an easy place. Well, which one are you going with, Seattle or San Francisco?
Well, San Francisco will win the division.
I agree. I think we've agreed with most of these picks, but I'm going with San Francisco too. I think even if it comes down to Sam Darnold, which it easily could, because for some reason the 49ers can't keep quarterbacks healthy. Just not at all.
Yeah, it's weird too. It's because it's never an injury that's –
No.
It's never a play that's like – other than – well, Alex Smith didn't get hurt with the 49ers. He got hurt with – was it the Redskins? Or was it –
Yeah, he got hurt with the Redskins.
Yeah, when he suffered that injury. Yep. But it's always like, he twisted an ankle, and then it's something bigger.
Yeah, it turns into like he has to get amputated or something.
Yeah, or it's like chop his foot off and just do a Ronnie Lott, cut the finger off and go back in the game.
Right.
Which we wouldn't have anymore because Yeah.
Well, actually, Ronnie Lott says he regrets getting his finger cut off.
Yeah, now he does. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, that was stupid.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that now, and he's probably right. He probably wouldn't. But I think I got the 49ers as the number 1 seed, and the Seahawks as the last wild card.
Yeah, I can see Seattle making the playoffs again, but I think San Francisco is probably that team in that division that's going to be tough to dethrone. I think.
I think the Rams. I don't know what happened to the Rams ever since the whole whatever happened with the Cam Akers thing. Just like after that, everything just imploded. And
Well, they got their ring. That was the big thing. They got their ring, but like it's gonna be a while before the Rams are able to they're gonna have to redo that whole team. That's gonna take a long time to rebuild.
and then do you trade Sam Darnold? Well, not Sam Darnold, but Aaron Donald. Do you trade Aaron Donald?
Well, I think you start over. You trade Donald, you trade Stafford if anybody will take him. Trade everybody,
I mean Stafford. I mean, I think Stafford proved if he has a good team around him, he can.
But is the team good enough to compete for a Super Bowl?
Probably not. No. I mean, if you put him somewhere else,
Yeah.
I think that has a good team around him.
Yeah, I think so too.
I mean, I think he proved that the Detroit years were, he did everything he possibly could with what he had. But I just think with the Geno Smith, it's just got a resurgence. And if you look at the Seattle quarterbacks that have had big time fan bases, John Kitna was not a big time quarterback, but the Seattle fans loved him. Dave Craig. I mean, you get a quarterback like him. He came from nowhere. They weren't even looking. I mean, he wasn't. You gave up your franchise quarterback. You get Geno Smith. I mean, who makes the playoffs? The Seahawks or the Broncos?
Yeah.
And I don't think anybody would have picked the Seahawks.
No,
I thought Geno
not.
Smith was not a good choice.
No, but somehow it worked, though, man. Somehow it worked.
Yeah.
All right, let's. We got one more video. We got our boy Card Shark Chris couldn't make it tonight, but he did send a video in to tell us who he thinks going to win the Super Bowl, and also a little comments about his Detroit Lions. Let's see what our boy Card Shark Chris has to say about the 2023 NFL season.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Hotbox, for inviting me on the NFL preview show for 2023. I really wish I could be with everybody tonight, but my son Aiden has a football game that was rescheduled for this evening, so I will be there. Just wanted to drop my Super Bowl predictions really quick. I don't know if I'm going out on a limb here, but I'm going to say the Cincinnati Bengals and the Philadelphia Eagles. And I'm just going to go, let's go Philadelphia just so, Philly, or, I mean, honestly, you can't. Either one of those cities is long deserving of a championship. As far as my Detroit Lions, I really see them competing for the NFC North title this year. It's going to be a tough race between them and Green Bay, I really believe. I'm excited to see the additions on defense for the Lions, as well as Jahmyr Gibbs. Dude's going to be a stud, I believe. Minnesota might be in question a little bit there, except for I don't think their defense is there. And then I think Chicago just probably isn't capable of winning too many games this year. So I'll take the Lions, about 10, 11 wins. That's what I've got. Remember, visit www.hotboxcards.net and use the code SHARK to receive your extra hit. Also, I have a giveaway going on my channel. Check out the video for Bricks Cards and enter the giveaway there. Thank you so much for having me, Hotbox. Be excellent to each other. The high tide raises all ships.
All right, that was our boy Card Shark Chris. Check out his YouTube channel, Card Shark Chris. You can find him on YouTube. He's doing a giveaway right now with one of his local card shops. So make sure you check out that video and see the instructions or the rules for the contest. So check him out. He's one of our favorite guys to bring on. Usually he's on this show for our NFL preview show, but he couldn't make it tonight. But his son's got a football game, and for some reason he picked the football game with his sons over me. I don't know. I feel kind of like hurt, but it happens. So, all right, let's bring our boy Chris Ellis back in. It's been a marathon show, but we're getting close to the end. Before we talk about the NFL MVP and everything, let's first talk about who's going to come out of each division, AFC and NFC. So who's going to meet in the Super Bowl, but not who's going to win the Super Bowl. So what do you have coming out of the AFC, and who do you have coming out of the NFC?
Okay, for the AFC, I got the number one seed will be the Jaguars, 2 Chiefs, 3 Bengals, 4 Bills, 5 Ravens, 6 Dolphins, and 7 will be the Chargers. And then the NFC, the number one seed will be the 49ers, 2 will be the Eagles, 3 will be the Lions, 4 will be the Bucks, 5 will be the Vikings, 6 Cowboys, and 7 Seahawks. Okay.
Okay, and who do you have coming out of the AFC and NFC as the champion for each?
I got the 49ers playing the Bills.
49ers and Bills. So you think the 49ers are going to – so do you think the 49ers are going to upset the Eagles in the NFC Championship game? Or?
Yeah.
So we got a rematch, basically, of the NFC Championship game. But this time, Brock Purdy won't get hurt.
Anything is possible again.
Yeah.
I think the matchup in the AFC is a little bit more telling than the NFC because I got the one playing the 6. I got the Niners beating my Cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got the Eagles beating the Vikings. And then I got the Jaguars playing the Bills and the Chiefs playing the Bengals, which I think that the AFC matchups are going to be a whole lot prettier.
Mm-hmm.
But I got the Bengals and the Bills meeting up in the AFC Championship game.
Gotcha. And you think the Bengals will make it into the Super Bowl?
No, the Bills.
Oh, the Bills will make it to the Super Bowl. So you got Bills and 49ers.
Yep.
A rematch. They played 1 year for a rematch. They had a Super Bowl, right?
The Bills played the Redskins, and then they played the Cowboys. And,
yeah. I guess they did not. I always think I get them and the Broncos mixed up sometimes. So
all right. So
when
you go to that many Super Bowls, and lose,
yeah,
you
kind of get all lumped together.
Yeah.
All right. So you got the Bills and the 49ers. I'm also going with the Bills. I go with the Bills every year. The Bills are going to come out of the AFC this year. Somebody's going to bring down, I think, the Chiefs. NFC, I'm going with the Eagles. I hate saying it. There's no team I hate more than the Philadelphia Eagles. I hate the city of Philadelphia. I hate all the teams from Philadelphia. I only live like an hour and 45 minutes away. I just do not like the Eagles. I don't like anything from Philly. I don't. I just can't stand it.
Cheesesteaks? No Philly.
No, I hate Philly cheesesteaks. I think they're horrible.
Oh God.
I can't stand it. But I gotta be unbiased on the show, so I gotta go with the Eagles. I think the Eagles and Bills will meet in the Super Bowl, and we'll give you our Super Bowl prediction here in a second. I know, Chris, you also did a list of your NFL MVP and also your rookie offense rookie of the year and defense rookie of the year. Let's start with the defensive rookie of the year and the offense rookie of the year. Who do you have are the top rookies this year?
Defensive rookie of the year, I actually have defensive end Carter from the Eagles, Jalen. I don't know how anybody's going to stop that offensive line and do with all the switches they can do. So I think he'll have a great year. I think his sack numbers will be. That's what he's going to be primary for, is getting to the quarterback. My offensive rookie of the year, we talked about Carolina, and even though that team will be in last place in its division, I think Bryce Young will be the rookie of the year, offensive rookie of the year. I just think he'll get more opportunities, as long as he doesn't get hurt. That's not saying that someone from the South, one of those two quarterbacks, could get it. I don't think Willis has a shot for the Titans. I don't think. I think Stroud and Richardson might. They both look good in their camps. Gameplay is a little bit different, but it's good. I think the quarterback position might get a little spark this year. Hopefully it's not. Hopefully it's better. Next year it's going to be interesting, of course, with the new crop. But I think those two. I wanted to put Bijan Robinson up there, but I don't know if the Falcons are going to use him well at all. It's just one of those things. I think he would have been better off going to a team like New England, who wanted him originally. Then all of a sudden at the 8th pick, we get a running back taken. So, okay. But NFL MVP is definitely, I don't think, will be too much of a controversy as long as this guy keeps a good head on his shoulders. I'm going Trevor Lawrence for the Jags. He'll be your NFL MVP.
Okay. I think another person you need to watch out for maybe for that offensive rookie of the year is Gibbs from Detroit. especially
Oh,
if Detroit's having a good year. Sometimes it's always the rookie of the year comes out of like nowhere, like not out of nowhere, but it's not
yeah.
always those top quarterbacks.
Well, think about it. Who would have thought, Brees Hall would have been doing what he was doing with the Jets, and then he got hurt.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, everybody
Right.
I think had Brees Hall right after that was like odds were all good. So
Right.
I mean,
Yeah, I would look for if the Lions are having a good year. Gibbs, I think, will be a major part of that running game.
oh yeah, yeah.
So I think that he could be one in there. NFL MVP. I haven't really looked yet. I really didn't even come up with a thing. I think you could see Lawrence. I've never been sold on Trevor Lawrence. I think he's good, but I don't think he's great.
You see, the division's so bad that I think his numbers are going to be like,
yeah.
I mean, that's what's going to hurt them in the playoffs, and it's going to hurt. I mean, I just can't. I mean, because everybody's going to be like, if the Jaguars are winning, how are you going to keep national TV off of him? I mean, It's just gonna, because I wanted to give it to a wide receiver, but I'm like, I can't because I gave the offensive MVP to the wide receiver. So,
give me Patrick Mahomes. I mean, it's a safe bet. Good chance.
No, he's probably the safest bet out there.
Yeah.
I mean, I could have easily put. I could have put the Bills.
Yep.
I could have put
Joe Burrow.
Another
one. Yep.
I mean, I could have put. I mean, Lamar Jackson, if he has a season like what he did a couple of years ago. I mean, I think the only divisions we don't have to worry about the MVP coming out of is like the NFC South.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, really, because the competition in the AFC South is going to be based on young guys. All four of those teams have young quarterbacks.
Yeah. Also, I think Jalen Hurts could make a run for that NFL MVP as well.
Oh yeah, I mean, if the Giants have a good year, I think Saquon will.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's going to mean more to that. He's got to stay healthy. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, my son was big. I mean, we were talking about it, and before we haven't even talked about. I haven't talked about his list because I know he's probably making his. But I mean, the Giants he is big on because I mean, Thibodeau he goes because we were watching the game together, and we were watching the Giants preseason. He's like, Thibodeau's going to have a monster year. They're just going to let him be LT too.
I'm hoping.
And I'm like, that's scary if that guy because the only other guy that's like that is Parsons.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, and I don't know. I mean, I haven't seen a guy like LT since maybe Derek Thomas.
Closest. I was gonna say Derek Thomas was
the closest thing to an LT that we'll ever see again.
Right.
So
all right. Let's go ahead and give our Super Bowl prediction. So your Super Bowl prediction was the Bills and the 49ers. Who do you have winning Super Bowl, whatever number we're up to?
Well, hopefully we don't have anybody hanging upside down or a guy in the pit walk and doing marijuana before the show, or a pregnant lady up 30 feet in the air, okay, for the pregame show. I got the 49ers beating the Bills with Christian McCaffrey being your Super Bowl MVP.
Wow. So you think, okay, 49ers winning. Man, Brock, talk about, do you think it's going to be Brock Purdy or do you think it's going to be Sam Darnold?
You know what I'm thinking is that one of the two are going to end up getting hurt, and that Super Bowl is going to be one of the first Super Bowls you see with two quarterbacks play on the field. Purdy will handle one side of the offense, and Darnold will handle the other. I think Darnold's a little bit more quicker. I think speed-wise, it might be wrong on that, but Purdy's more of a pocket type quarterback, except when he needs to run. But I think Darnold, I think it could be the first dual quarterback.
Two quarterbacks there. Okay. Could happen. Of course, I'm going with Bills and the Eagles, and my Super Bowl prediction is the Buffalo. I'm turning into Chris Berman. Berman always picked the Bills and 49ers every year. This is my third year in a row. I'm picking the Buffalo Bills. They got to win it.
They got to go
My
around the wagons once.
Yeah.
They got to win one.
They got to win one. My family is a big Buffalo Bills fan because I had a cousin who played for them. I'm not a Bills fan, but I want to see the Bills win. My family will be very happy about that. Rob says that'd be cool to see two quarterbacks. Yes, that would. But I think the Bills will take it over the Eagles, and I can never pick the Eagles to win the Super Bowl. I just refuse to do that.
Is it in Cold Weather Stadium this year or no?
Hold on one sec. Let me check. Super Bowl location. See, 2020. Where are we? 2000. It is in Nevada. It's in Las Vegas.
Well, it can be cold in Vegas if they let that dome open.
Yeah.
If they let the dome.
2024 is in Paradise, Nevada. And then 2025 is New Orleans. And 2026, they're back to California with Santa Clara. So that is the Super Bowl coming up.
They will never do a Super Bowl in New York again because of the rain.
Yeah, I know. It's not going to happen.
That was a bad way to start.
It was. All right, Chris Ellis, Card Guy. Tell us what you got going on your YouTube channel over there on Chris Ellis, Card Guy. Plus, I know this Wednesday you're going to be doing your NFL special with your son, and you have a lot more predictions going over on your show on Wednesday.
Yep. Me and my son will actually be back together Wednesday doing our show. We're gonna do our picks. I'll rehash the ones I have, but we'll be doing all the NFL awards from MVP, the Offensive Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, Coach of the Year, Comeback Player of the Year, and then we'll do a mid-season review on baseball and talk about what we're looking for in what is now the Panini landscape, we should say, card industry, and see how that's going to change, because supposedly still they're going to bring out all the product that they were supposed to bring out this year.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking they're going to flood the market hard.
Yeah, very well could be.
And they're already talking about suing Fanatics again.
Okay.
Which if they do, you see, Fanatics is the thing is they're going after the NFL stuff. They're going after the wrong product for Fanatics. They're European contracts. They're European moneymakers.
Mm-hmm.
That's what makes their money. This it's like, oh, you want to, yeah. But there was a certain lawsuit back in 1979 by Fleer against Topps that holds presidents.
Mm-hmm.
That got three companies to make cards before the fourth one in the 90s. So yeah. I think we might actually have a class action lawsuit for monopolyism. Even though, what is America? It's a monopoly, which you're not supposed to have. So.
Yeah, that should be pretty interesting. We've talked a little bit about that on our show, and of course, we'll have more updates about that as well. What I really like about your channel, Chris Ellis, Card Guy, is when you guys are doing your NFL predictions and stuff, you guys look at the card side of it too, and talk about who you guys think people should be collecting and stuff. So I think that's really cool. And your channel is a little bit different than what a lot of people do when you're doing your baseball previews and your mid-season reviews. You're talking about who everybody should be collecting.
Yeah. And that's one thing we'll definitely be hitting. Like, we already got I'm going to talk about Carter and Young, I know, and B. John, but I know my son's going to be talking about guys like Quentin Johnson. He's big into a couple of corners that he really likes, a couple of Tennessee wide receivers that have come out, and I know that he's looking at this, and we're looking at like baseball this year. I mean, a lot of good rookies have come out. I mean, some rookies have taken storm. Baseball should not be hurting for players, for fans, because there's a lot of young. I mean, once the Wander Franco thing gets taken care of, and hopefully no one's talking bad about him on any website, because if it's proven that what happened didn't happen, someone's going to get sued for libel, and I don't think anybody wants to take on Wander Franco in a libel suit. So.
Yeah. Definitely. All right, Chris Ellis, Card Guy. I want to thank you for being on our show tonight. Again, check out Chris Ellis, the Card Guy, on YouTube. Also want to thank our other guests that brought in videos, Keith White from the Mixed Tag Podcast, And I don't know whatever he's doing now, but he'll be joining us here in the next couple of weeks. Also want to thank Dave over at Zero Fox Sports Cards. Check out his YouTube channel, Zero Fox Sports Cards. And our buddy Card Shark Chris sending in a video too. Check out Card Shark Chris on YouTube. And he has a contest going on as well for his local card shop. So check that out as well. All right, guys, that's all the time I got for tonight. I'm tired. I need to get to bed. Again, no show next Monday for Labor Day, but the following Monday, 9 p.m. Eastern, live on YouTube and Facebook Live, will be our Monday Night Huddle show. Our buddy Keith White and maybe another guest will be coming on too and we'll be talking about some recent deaths in wrestling and the recent Wembley Stadium show that AEW ran as well. All right, guys, that's all the time I got for tonight. Be safe and have a great week.